Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're talking about the Ninja Superspies martial arts and will it work in your campaign, how to use it, all that stuff. Today's video is how to introduce this to your group as a game master. Should you not? What are some ways you can introduce it to where it creates the least amount of waves and the most amount of enjoyment? We're going to talk about all of that right after this.
Role-playing games thrive in fantastic worlds and at inclusive tables that embrace these core values for the most positive gaming experience. Donate to the Wounded Warrior Project via the link in the description below to help, honor, and empower our wounded heroes. On Thursdays and Saturdays, watch Heathen Dog's Dirty Casuals play multiplayer video games over on Twitch. On Sundays and Fridays, join us for tabletop role-playing game content on both YouTube and Rumble. Finally, please take a quick moment to like this video and share it with both your friends and on social media. If you have not done so, please subscribe to Legion of Myth and activate that bell icon to receive notifications of new content.
Okay, so first question is, can I introduce this to my group? Well, yes, you can, but you have to gauge your group. Now, ideally, your group has already been utilizing a lot of the combat maneuvers in your base game. They've done the tackles. They've done the body flips. They've done the special maneuvers that normal martial arts or hand-to-hand expert gives you. They're used to utilizing that. It'll make the introduction of these new maneuvers much more palatable and much more useful to them. Speaking of useful to them, the other thing is, if your group doesn't use these maneuvers, if your group doesn't use maneuvers already in your base game, they probably won't use these, or they won't use them correctly or appropriately.
They'll expect too much from them.
Exactly. They'll expect them to be like superpowers, which they are not.
And you know, he makes a really good point. He said this in other videos as well. When it comes to these maneuvers, so many people just look at that strike bonus or the parry bonus, dodge, you know, the kind of the core three, and they forget about body flip throw. They forget about knockout punch. They forget about what are some of the other ones I can't think off the top of my head. You know, grappling and so forth. Like all of these things, like, well, the rules are complicated. They're not complicated, first of all, if you read them. And secondly, after you do them a couple of times, they're no longer complicated because you've done them a couple of times. You know,
and now your party understands how useful they can be. Locking down someone's leg, sure. Does that help you kill a guy? No. It helps the rest of your team hit the guy because now he can't dodge.
Thank you. And it's there's a lot of synergy involved in these things. Well, this takes an action, this takes two actions. Who cares how many actions something takes? Yeah, exactly. You have the team work together. Now, to be fair, a good game master will use those same abilities against you.
The players to actually, I'm glad you brought that up. That was my next point. The best way to introduce these right off the bat is to have a martial artist enemy and have him use these abilities against the team. They will see firsthand how useful they can be. And then they're going to want it.
But it only does a D6 damage when I could do this power punch for 66 damage.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. But the enemy just did a D6 damage to you, but it nullified your next attack.
Yep.
Or it puts you on the ground, and now you don't get to use any of your attacks until
that knockdown is just ridiculous. I mean, well, okay, let me rephrase it.
Yeah. Anyone who doesn't use it in Palladium combat is dumb.
Yep.
Absolutely dumb. If you got it in your arsenal, fire that thing off, man. Use it as many times as you can. It's great. Absolutely great. And that brings us to making it more accessible to the players. Once they get a taste of it, they fought against it, or you've introduced a little bit of it. The best way to move forward is to make a cheat sheet, right? Copy of the book, all the powers, so they know exactly what they do all the time. So even when you're using a power against them, they can look it up and see exactly what it does. Oh, okay. That you're bringing them into a different mindset, or you're reinforcing what they already think, that combat maneuvers can be super useful.
And now you realize that kip up is such a great ability.
Oh my God, yes. Getting up almost exclusively takes an action.
Yep.
Not if you have the kip up ability. Whoop, you're up. It's an automatic stand. It's great. It's awesome, especially if the enemy used a flip on you and you're on the ground. Flip up.
Okay,
Great.
you took a D4 SDC, but all the other negatives
Gone. It's great. It's absolutely great. The cheat sheet is a visual representation for the players, not only on the rules of the game, but the usefulness as it happens in real time. This will help your table acclimate to start thinking and using these abilities on the regular. Now, since you are introducing these powers and abilities to a table, they're going to get it wrong. You're going to get it wrong until you get used to it. There's a golden rule for this, and Max and I have said it many times for many other gaming systems. The ruling in the moment is law. Before and after the game is when you argue GM calls. So you make a ruling. That's not right. Well, we don't have time to look it up now. It's going to slow down everything. I'm just going to rule this now. This is how it works. And we'll look it up after the day is over. You look it up after the day's over. Now you and every player on there know exactly how that works because you all looked it up and you're like, okay, moving forward, this is how it works. And if you make any changes to a power, any changes to an ability, any changes to a martial arts form, you make that crystal clear going in. And you can make all the changes you want. Just please don't try and break the game because that's not fun for anyone. And Bruce Lombardo.
Well, it's less than $20. We'll get it at the end of the right. We'll not. It's a good question though, Bruce.
Yeah, but that is basically it. That how to fit it in your group. You have to gauge your group. Do they want this? Will they use it properly? This is your opinion. This is your guesses or your educated guesses. And then
sorry.
And then how to introduce it in a way to where they become most receptive. Like I said, give it to an enemy and have it used against them. The best way to get a player to want something is to give it to somebody else. Then they're going to want to gimme. Then they're going to want it. That's in my experience, but you have to gauge your table and the introduction for your table. And then of course, making the cheat sheet, make sure all the rules, especially because they're new, are available to everyone at the table at all times to be seen in real time as they happen.
Do you mind if I share something?
Go ahead.
This is unfortunately a picture. I made this back in the 90s, so I don't have it in digits anymore other than this picture. But this is just an example of what I do in my games. If I can find the right, entire screen, just do it that way. This is an old TMNT character sheet of mine from the 90s. I think this is Sheris's character. I have all that stuff on here.
Yep.
Because one of the things I learned about Palladium is if you put that stuff on here, roundhouse kick, jump kick, all these different kick attacks, palm strike, +4 to hit. This is obviously not how I would do it, but +4 to hit. Boom, everything's right there. So you don't have to figure out, wait. So it's plus strike is plus what? Where's his strike here? Hand to hand. He doesn't even have it on. He doesn't even have his basic strike bonus on here. But
filling it out is important.
Yeah. But plus 4 to hit there, yada yada. You get what's going on here. You can see it right there, so okay, I'm doing a tripping leg hook. It's +4 to hit. Boom, and he just knows it's right there, and that's the ability he's doing. If you fill it out, this is the thing about Palladium. People complain, it takes so long to make a Palladium character, and then I even do something like this. You don't have to spend any time doing it. You just look at what your attack you want to do is, and pop, it's right there, your bonus. And
all of your math has already been mathed. It's already done. You just look it up. I'm doing this. Boom, roll it. There you go. That's it. Like, having the information readily available to everyone on the table will make combat so much smoother, so much faster, and so much easier to introduce new things. You just add it to the list.
And Heathen Dog also said one other thing that is really, really, really important. I think he said in the last video. These are not the pure forms of the martial arts. If you've taken them, like I've taken Kung Fu, Specifically Northern Shaolin Kung Fu with China. No, when I looked at it on used to drive me crazy. I used to be really big into martial arts in the 90s, where I was reading the magazines. I had friends they're still actually professional martial artists to this day and bodyguards and whatnot. And we would laugh when we'd see what these martial arts was like. That doesn't do that. Okay, I suppose you could think it doesn't matter. It's not meant for that. It's meant to give you a general visualization of what the style is and then incorporate it into a game system that is going to have its
without breaking combat for everyone else. So
right.
All of the martial arts here may have the name of a real life martial art, but it will not necessarily have the same function because in Palladium combat, maybe that just doesn't work. Right? So it's going to be changed. But it's just fun to say my character knows Kung Fu.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, that is it. I mean, fitting this into your group is all about two or three things. Will they be receptive? How you introduce it, and how you hook them.
I'm going to ask you a couple questions. So we're talking Palladium here. Yep. I know you've already said that because it says it on the cover, compatible with Heroes Unlimited, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which by extension means After the Bomb also. But let's talk about some of the other ones. System failure. Would this be something that you could throw into system failure? What do you think, without, again, diving deep into what system failure is, what modifications might you have to make to put in a game, say, like system failure or beyond the supernatural?
Well, the other games, the reason they weren't listed on the cover is because they have other powers that would greatly overshadow the martial arts in this, like beyond the supernatural. Psionics is king, right? Psionics and magic is king, and you really aren't going to do an arm lock on a demon, right? Can you even do that? Is it physically possible? I don't know, but it can be done. You just have to dedicate a lot more time in studying what will work, what won't work, and introduce those.
Do you think some things would be too powerful though? Like,
no,
that might break
I don't.
The bank a little bit.
I really don't. The reason being is because the ninjas and super spies special abilities you get from the martial arts, even the Atemi abilities, they aren't on the level of magic, psionics, or superpowers. They aren't that strong. Okay. They're bonuses, sure. They're useful, absolutely. But in light of magic, psionics, and superpowers, they hold barely a candle.
Okay.
It's more additive than breaking. It's not a replacement for these special abilities. It's more of a kind of like having a +1 sword is nice. You get +1 to hit, +1 to damage. But if you're 10th level, that's not a lot, right? That's not a lot. But it's something. If it's extra on top of whatever else you get, well, that's something, right? A lot of times that's what this ninjas and super spy stuff turns out being, if you have a high power campaign in a world that has, say, Nightbanes in it. Nightbane actually, I think, would be really fun playing with martial arts because a lot of Nightbane is physical attacks, one-on-one close-on physical attacks. And these martial arts would greatly enhance your Nightbane's ability to win fights.
Well, and then the game master can also give the Nightbanes the ability to use them against you as well.
That is true, exactly. But hey, that's the trade-off, right? That's what you do. But
evil ninja clan that's actually from
the other world. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. That happens. That happens. But yeah, it can work. It's not going to be, for the most part, it's not going to be game breaking. But is it going to be useful enough to introduce at all? In some games, no. Okay. Some games, no. Like Palladium Fantasy, I don't think I would introduce these at all. Would it be useful? Maybe. Does it make sense? I don't think so.
Only if you're playing in a Japanese style, or
you have to be very specific settings.
Yeah.
And then it might work, but other than that, no, man, leave it alone. Leave it alone. You don't need it.
So I know a lot of folks are saying in chat here. We'll pop up some of these chats now. Start with Bruce. Thank you very much, member, for 18 months. What's the best martial arts system you saw in a game, Heathen Dog?
best. That's very subjective, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with it's a tie between Shadowrun First Edition and Marvel Superheroes, the 1980s edition. I'm choosing them not because of their robustness and stuff like that. I'm choosing them because of their simplicity of use and absolute visual clarity in someone's head of what's going on. In the Marvel Superheroes, there are 5 martial arts skills you can get. You can get them all if you want. And you can say it's jujitsu, you can say it's kung fu, you can say it's karate, whatever. But each of these 5 things gives you 5 specific abilities that are useful almost all the time. In
Gotcha.
Shadowrun, you just have mainly you just have hand-to-hand fighting skill, armed, unarmed, ranged. Those are your 3. But if you go unarmed, you can use specialty equipment to simulate almost any technique you want. And it just makes it super easy to custom your character to a certain style. Like you could easily visualize my character has a high unarmed combat, and I use this this piece of equipment that makes me, be able to knock people down, and you could say, okay, well then you are a jujitsu or a Aikido expert. You can say that, and you can visualize that, and you can see it. For simplicity, I like those. For complexity, not ease of use. Ninja Super Spies is great just because it is so fleshed out and flavor and as much real world components are incorporated into it to make it just like what Palladium's really great at is telling a story, and all these martial art forms tell a story. But my favorite for sheer simplicity and ease of use is Marvel Superheroes and Shadowrun.
All right. Well, for me, it's literally none, and the reason is very simple. It's nothing that it's a bad idea or whatever, but no game to me can actually incorporate what martial arts really entails. So you just have to wing it at some point. You either get really in depth with terms and names like Palladium does, or you just, like Heathen Dog was saying, you just kind of wing it and just say, you know what, this gives you a +6, or this gives you an extra D to damage, or something like that. Like, otherwise, how else do you express it? It's unfortunately, it's just one of those things that doesn't translate over well. I know there are games developed right around the Street Fighter RPG. To some degree, Legend of the Five Rings, to some degree, it's built around it, but no game really encapsulates this, because the speed of a martial arts fight would just bog down any rolling system. So you just, at some point, you just have to wing it.
You
so
have to make concessions for the rules,
yeah,
and concession for ease of use. And in your eyes, it just dilutes what it actually should be.
Right.
I get
exactly. So Per asks, how about body flip throwing a baddie out of a window down a flight of stairs? Be creative. Exactly.
Yeah, you could do that. You could. The rules do not explicitly say you can do that, but if you guys are on some kind of tightrope situation and you body flip throw someone, the odds of him landing on the tightrope and not falling are so slim as to be laughable. That guy's taking a dive.
Yeah.
And you could just win a fight right there because he broke his neck.
Yep. Fighting on top of the train. Gotta always in the Super Spy movie.
On top of the train, you got to do that. You body flip throw. Wilhelm scream commence, right? And then he just goes off the bridge, whatever. That's how it works. So yes, that is cool.
Weird Guy, $5. Thank you very much for the $5, Weird Guy. Dice Foo is most effective if your player is doing something dumb. A 1d20 upside the head with force does wonders for attitude adjustment.
It also has people leave your table pretty quickly. Yeah.
Maybe that was the success of your attack.
Maybe that's what you wanted. You wanted him to leave. Go and never come back. Throw dice.
Everybody keeps posting. I don't care what Fantasy 1E says, guys. I don't care. Stop pinging me on that. I'm not posting any of those messages. It would be a good thing for players to have a cheat sheet with all the possible combat maneuvers. Hey, it's weird. What did I post on the screen? If the players get bonus, does not matter. They may try anyway. Yes.
Well, the way Palladium works is you can't use a special ability unless your martial arts form gives it. So, if you have a martial artist in your group, I would have a blanket handout of all martial arts maneuvers for anyone at the table to see, and then a specific one for each person that has a specific form of martial arts, so they know exactly what they can use out of all of them. But be able to see all of them, so when something new happens to them, they can look it up in real time. And you would be surprised on how many times where you body flip throw somebody and like, what do you mean I lost initiative? What do you mean I lost an action? When you can say, dude, it's been on the table the whole time. It's right there.
Yep.
It's right there. That shuts that crap down quick.
People in chat are weird. Weird guy for $2 says, check out new Superspies page 163, 4 classes for Fantasy 1E. The only reason that got posted on the screen is because he paid $2 for it. We get it, folks. Heathen Dog made a comment a moment ago. I don't run Palladium Fantasy, so it's not. I play in it, but I don't run it, so it's not a big deal for me. Great, it's there. Thank you. Oh, also, I don't have 1E. But thank you for the $2.
Actually, I do have 1E.
I don't.
I've never played it, but I have the book.
There are benefits about. I mean, I've heard enough about 1E and people talk about. There's some benefits in 1E, some things I like better about 2E. So, Michael Mammoth, there's nothing Dorks love more than argue about martial arts and RPGs, or just in general.
Arguing about the most ridiculous minutia that you could possibly imagine.
Tell me you don't know anything about Kung Fu without, tell me you don't know anything about Kung Fu when you say blah, blah, blah. Like, look, man, I took Northern Shaolin. That's a lot of kicks, okay? Northern Shaolin really focuses on the kicks. That doesn't mean we don't throw any punches, but in fact, one of the styles is 12 ways of striking. It was a lot of kicks, though. But to act like, well, that's all it is. They just kick. They just bounce around like a bunch of bunny rabbits. Okay, yeah. Can't argue with that.
That's what it looks like, because in most cases in life, kicking hurts more than punching.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, with my friends who took various forms of martial arts, they said one of them is right now a master in like 4 different forms. He's a bodyguard in real life and so forth. And one of his things he told me many years ago, if you're kicking higher than somebody's waist, you're kicking too high. Like, just because you can kick somebody in the face doesn't mean you should. Yeah. Now, but again,
I'm sure there's specific circumstances where it's called for, but most of the time, probably not.
Yeah, and now, but I'm not going to argue with him at the same time. Why did I take Kung Fu over karate or anything else? Because I love the way Kung Fu looks. That was really the only reason. I love the way Kung Fu looks. Do I think it's the best fighting style ever? No. If I want the best fighting styles ever, I'd probably go with, do the Bruce Lee thing. I'd take, let's see, well, he developed Jeet Kune Do, but I'd do fencing, boxing, let's see, what's Krav Maga and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or real Jiu-Jitsu. Really. I would combine, multiple. There's no one form that is the best end all be all. Well, Kempo, you have to register your hands as a killing weapon. Who cares?
All right. Yeah, but we're going to leave that alone.
But it's the point of the arguing. It's the point of the arguing over, Yeah.
That's what forums are for. The arguments like this.
Exactly. So, all right. With that, I guess, that's everything. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the membership, Bruce. And that's it. So let me put up the, there it is. Boop. Like, subscribe, share if you like Heathen Dog's coverage of how to include martial arts. I'm still not convinced I'd want to add it to my game. Not that he ruined it. It's just, again, the players I had made it not as viable. And if I would have told any of the players, no, you can't have that martial art, or I don't use the Atemi or whatever, they just left my game. So I just say, nope, screw it. You're using martial arts or ninjutsu out of TMNT and call it a day. But your mileage may vary. So please like, subscribe, and share, and he'll be back with something interesting next week.